Hello and welcome to Sports Buzz with me Deepika, your daily window to catch up with all latest news and updates from the world of sports. Today we will be going to bring you news and updates from the world of cricket, football, hockey, shooting and latest on Paris 2024 Olympics preparations. First up, let's take a look at the headlines. Ajaz Patel strikes thrice to put New Zealand on top on day one of second test match against India at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium. Kohli Pujara falls for duck. Indian men's junior hockey team to play semi-finals match against Germany in Bhubaneswar today. Earlier, India defeated Belgium by a solitary goal in a repeat of the last edition's final. Neeraj Chopra to visit Sanskar Dham School on the 4th of December, Saturday, to spread awareness on balanced diet, fitness and sports. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged all Paralympians and Olympians to spread awareness by visiting 75 schools. And Cristiano Ronaldo becomes first ever player to score 800 career goals. Manchester United came from behind to beat Arsenal in a memorable contest featuring two crucial VAR decisions, and in another match Tottenham beat Brentford. And to start with the latest in sports, the second test match between India and New Zealand to be played in Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium started late today due to rain. Indian captain Virat Kohli won the toss and elected to bat first, and along with Kohli, Mohammad Siraj and Jayant Yadav have also returned to the Indian team. But as the game progressed later in the day and during the time we hit the tea schedule on day first, India stood at 161 for 4 against New Zealand at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. While Indian openers added 80 runs for the first wicket, but later on, New Zealand's Ajaz Patel took 3 wickets in consecutive overs to bring New Zealand, the Kiwis, back in the game. Well, Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara and Shubman Gill were Ajaz's 3 dismissals in a shock to men in blue. Kohli and Pujara failed to impress yet again as they both were dismissed on ducks. Both the star batsmen haven't registered a century since 2019. On the other hand, Mayank Agarwal is still batting and he has also completed his half-century and is going strong with Kanpur Test's hero Shreyas Iyer in the middle. And in hockey, in a mouth-watering match, 2021's latest match, which is going to take place today evening in the semi-final clash, holders and two-time champions India will take on the most successful side in the history of the tournament, Germany, at Bhubaneswar today on 3rd of December. India, who defeated Belgium by a solitary goal in a repeat of the edition's final for a place in the last 4, will face probably the biggest challenge of the tournament when they take on Germany today evening. The German Colts will be extra motivated to beat their Indian rivals, and India had defeated Germany in the bronze medal playoff at Tokyo Olympics. More in this report.
Keeping its defence intact had been the primary task for India against Belgium. Similarly, resisting the German Raiders until the last second will be #1 priority in the semi-finals of the Men's Hockey Junior World Cup at the Kalinga Stadium on Friday. The way Germany fought back, scoring the equaliser in the final seconds of its quarter-final against Spain before going on to win the penalty shootout, speaks of the 6-time champions' resilience. Players such as Sanjay and Yashdeep Sivach did well to marshal the men at the back against Belgium. They will look forward to continuing their good work. The last line of defence goalkeepers Prashant and Pavan and would have to have another clean sheet against the Germans. The midfield, led by captain Vivek Sagar Prasad, would be eager to facilitate fluid movement and the alert forwards to try and make the most of any opportunity. India's robust drag flicking department also must be eager to contribute in the quest for a spot in a second consecutive final. On the other hand, Germany's unbeaten campaign was at the edge of a cliff, trailing 1-2 against Spain with just 27 seconds left on the clock when they scored the equalizer. In the shootout, they won 3-1 for their fourth victory on the trot. Germany has 10 podium finishes in 11 appearances. Since opening day, it's been a different Indian team with new heroes emerging in every match. Sanjay, currently the tournament's third highest scorer with 8 goals, hogged the limelight with his hat-trick against France. In the next 3 games, names like Sharda Nantiwari, Arijit Singh Hundal, Uttam Singh, goalkeepers Pawan and Prashant Chauhan, Yashdeep Siraj turned into Captain Vivek Sagar Prasad's trusted lieutenants. It will be interesting to see how the script unfolds this evening. Sports Desk, DD India.
Well, very important and crucial match for the juniors men's hockey team today, who will be playing their semi-final match against the team. Talking about team's performance, Indian hockey men's team's performance, India lost their initial and opening match, which was against France, and later on they moved on with great score and performance. Now let's move on to badminton and talk about Kidambi Srikanth, who bowed out of the season-ending BWF World Tour Finals after losing to second-seeded Malaysian Lee Ziyajee in straight games in his third and final Group B match. The former world number 1 went down by 19-21, 14-21 straight 2 sets in 37 minutes to end his campaign. It was Srikanth's second loss to the world number 8 Malaysian, who had defeated the Indian at high-low in straight games. Whereas in women's doubles and in a must-win match for Indian shuttlers on day 3 at the ongoing BWF World Tour Finals 2021, women's doubles pair of Ashwini Punappa and Sikki Reddy defeated world-ranked 13 Chloe Borch and Lorian Smith of England by 21-19, 9-21 and 21-14 to secure third place in their group stage match. An update from shooting now. In shooting, Shreyasi Singh won the women's trap event for the second time in a row in the National Shooting Championship. This is Shreyasi's 5th individual national title. Reigning Commonwealth Games champion Shreyasi Iyer emerged as the winner with 34 points in the final. Pragati Dubey, on the other hand, of Madhya Pradesh, stood second, whereas Shagun Chaudhary of ONGC stood third. Earlier, Shreyasi Singh also bagged a gold medal for Bihar in the shotgun event of the 63rd National Shooting Championship that was held in the year 2019. However, the competition was not organized in 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic. And sensational news coming in from the world of football. Cristiano Ronaldo scored his 800th career goal before driving home a penalty winner as Manchester United came from behind to beat Arsenal in a memorable contest featuring 2 crucial VAR decisions. Emily Smith-Rowe drove home from the edge of the area while United keeper David De Gea was lying on the ground, seemingly injured with his back to play. Bruno Fernandes levelled when he finished off an intricate move involving Jadon Sancho and Fred a minute before the break, setting up the pulsating second half that followed. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo put United ahead as he swept home Marcus Rashford's cross, but Martin Odegaard made it 2-2 with a well-taken equalizer. And on the other hand, Antonio Conte's unbeaten league starts as Tottenham was continued as they kept pace with the top 4 with a comfortable victory over lackluster Brentford. A 12th minute own goal from right wing back Sergi Canos gave them the lead before Son Heung-min finished off a scintillating counter attack in the second half. And back in the country, the Sports Authority of India and Ministry of Education will run Meet the Champions program over the next 2 years as part of the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And in continuation to this, on December the 4th, Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra will visit Ahmedabad's Sanskar Dham school to spread awareness on the importance of balanced diet, fitness and sports. Our next report brings you more details. The Sports Authority of India and Ministry of Education will run Meet the Champions program over the next 2 years as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, celebrating country's 75 years of independence. In continuation to the celebrations and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's appeal to all Tokyo Olympians and Paralympians, Tokyo Olympics gold medalist Neeraj Chopra is all set to visit Sanskar Dham School in Ahmedabad on the 4th of December to spread awareness on balanced diet, fitness as well as sports. Earlier, during Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics medalist meet and greet session with the Prime Minister on 16th of August, the Prime Minister urged Indian Olympians and Paralympians to visit 75 schools each and spread awareness on the importance of fitness and balanced diet.
जिस देश का बचपन स्वस्थ न हो, वो देश भी कभी स्वस्थ नहीं हो सकता। और एक बहुत बड़ा सामाजिक काम मैं आपको इसलिए कह रहा हूं, स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन जब कहता है तो इस विषय में वो विश्वास करता है, हाँ यार देखिए यहां तक पहुंचा तो खाने में उसने नियमों का पालन किया। लेकिन आप एक लेक्चर तैयार कीजिए और उनको समझाइए, और मैं समझता हूं कि एक बहुत बड़ी सेवा है।
Speaking on this, Neeraj Chopra said,
जब हम ओलंपिक्स से आए थे तो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी सभी एथलीट्स से मिले थे और सभी से बातें की थी, और उन्होंने ये बोला था कि आप सभी एथलीट्स से मैं यही बोलूंगा कि आप जब भी आपको मौका मिले तो आप स्कूल्स में जाएं, बच्चों के साथ खेलें। तो मैं फाइनली बताना चाहता हूं कि मैं संस्कार धाम आ रहा हूं 4 दिसंबर को और काफी एक्साइटेड हूं।
Prime Minister mentioned the importance of food and nutrition in one of the edition of Man Ki Baat program. Students from across the state of Gujarat are expected to join the interaction session with Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra. Other than Neeraj Chopra, Tarandeep Rai, Sarthak Bhamri, Sushila Devi, Avani Lekhra will also visit different schools in other parts of the country and spread awareness on balanced food diet, fitness and most importantly, the importance of sports. Sports Desk, DD India. In run-up to Paris Olympics 2024, Sports Ministry has announced the inclusion of 7 more top international athletes to Mission Olympic cells that aim to garner the talent from grassroots level for the Olympics. Here's more. The Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports has doubled the number of former athletes as core members of the revamped Mission Olympic Cell to make it even more athlete-centric than it has been so far. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has announced the inclusion of 7 more top international athletes to Mission Olympic Cell. That includes Bhaichung Bhutia, Anju Bobby George, Sardar Singh, Anjali Bhagwat, Viren Raskina, Monalisa Barua Mehta and Trupti Murgunde. The sports minister said that the experience of these players will be of great use to India. He tweeted, "We are making India's prep stronger for Paris Olympics 2024. Happy to announce and welcome 7 more top international athletes to the Mission Olympic Cell. Their experience will add richly towards creating an athlete-centric ecosystem at the highest level." Mission Olympic Cell drives India's Olympics preparations through Target Olympics Podiums initiative of the ministry. This has been done to accelerate India's progress on the global sports stage. The Indian contingent returned with a record 7 medals, including a historic athletics gold from the Tokyo Olympics, which was followed by the para-athletes' stellar show at the ensuing Paralympics in the Japanese capital. Sports Desk, DD India. Well, China declared opposition to politicization of sports after the Women's Tennis Association suspended tournaments in the country following star player Peng Shuai's accusations of sexual assault against a former vice premier. Unconvinced by Peng's public appearances since the scandal first broke a month ago, The WTA said it wants assurances of Pang's well-being and has called for an investigation into the accusations leveled by the former world #1 doubles player against former Vice Premier Wankhede. The WTA announced the immediate suspension of all tournaments in China. The stance taken by the WTA comes at a sensitive time for the country of China as Beijing is preparing to host the Winter Olympics next February, and global rights groups and others have called for a boycott in protest against China's human rights record. People could be seen playing tennis matches at the Shenzhen-based sports center after the Women's Tennis Association suspended tournaments in China following star player Pang Shuai's accusations of sexual assault against a former vice premier. The Shenzhen-based sports center hosted the WTA finals in the year 2019, and the Chinese city has an agreement in place to host the same event until 2030. The Shenzhen Stadium has been proposed to host future WTA finals with construction work ongoing currently at the site. And now let's talk about tennis. Men's world #1 Novak Djokovic said that he fully supported the Women's Tennis Association's decision to suspend all tournaments in the Asian nation out of concern for the well-being of star player Pang Shuai. Unconvinced by Pang's public appearances since a scandal broke over a month ago on the sexual assault accusations against China's former premier, Zhang Gaoli, the WTA said it wanted assurances of Pang Shuai's well-being and has sought an investigation into the case as well. The decision comes as Beijing prepares to host the Winter Olympics scheduled for 2022 February. Global rights groups and others have also called for a boycott of the Beijing Olympics over China's human rights record. Djokovic, who recently co-founded a players' union aiming to represent both male and female professionals, said, and I quote him here, "I support fully WTA stance because we don't have enough information about Shuai Pang and her well-being," unquote.
I support fully WTA's stance because we don't have enough information about Shuai Pang, and her well-being and her health is of the utmost importance for the tennis community. Regardless of the fact that it's her, it can be anybody, both male and female player, that something like this could happen. And I don't see anything wrong in a WTA, and everyone, actually, ATP as well, asking for clarity on what is going on. We don't have enough information, and I think it's a very bold, very courageous stance from WTA. It's really sad that we don't have enough clarity on that. I mean, it's life of a tennis player that is in question here, so we as a tennis community need to stand together, and so I support it.
Well, Djokovic says it's sad that we don't have enough information on the whereabouts of Pang Shuai. Moving on, Russian tennis player Daniil Medvedev says players just want to know with certainty that Chinese player Pang Shuai is safe after accusing a powerful Chinese politician of sexual assault. Pang's whereabouts became a matter of international concern following nearly a 3-week public absence after she posted a message on social media in early November alleging that China's former vice premier Zhang Gaoli had sexually assaulted her. Pang Shuai, a 3-time Olympian, appeared in mid-November at a dinner with friends and at a children's tennis tournament in Beijing. Photographs and videos published by Chinese state media and by the tournament's organizers showed. The International Olympic Committee said it had held a second video call with Pang on Wednesday, following one that took late in the last month.
What we all want is to see that she's safe, which
I guess we still cannot know 100%, and that's what we are all hoping for, and that's what we all want. What WTA did was definitely a strong decision. At the same time, we cannot, there are so many, let's say, companies in the world, let's talk outside of WATP, and many of them are working in China and are still working. So I don't want to blame anybody. I feel like it's, there can be different opinions on what to do. I'm sure, talking about Andrea and ATP and every player, we all want her to see her to be safe in China, outside of China.
All international players asking for Peng's whereabouts, while saying that they just want that Peng, wherever she is safe. They want clarity on this. Well, moving on, China's State Council Information Office said that journalists and registered personnel will be able to travel freely within its closed-loop system during the upcoming Winter Olympics. Beijing is set to stage the Games from the 4th of February to the 20th of February without foreign spectators and with all athletes and related personnel contained in a closed loop and subject to daily testing for COVID-19. The closed loop management does not restrict the free activities of any registered personnel within the closed loop. In the large area of the closed loop, registered personnel can move completely freely between stations and venues and between the three competition areas by means of special transportation. State Council Information spokesperson Zhao Weidong said during a news conference in Beijing. Zhao also added that China is paying close attention to the developments of the Omicron variant, but authorities are remaining confident that their existing pandemic prevention manual will ensure the safety of the Beijing Olympic Games. Under its zero COVID policy, China has had what are among the world's strictest COVID-19 prevention measures. And now let's talk about skating. One of the key figure skating events leading into the Winter Olympics, the Grand Prix final, has been cancelled after Japan closed its border to non-Japanese visitors earlier this week. The Grand Prix final, which was scheduled for the western city of Osaka from the 9th of December to the 12th of December, has long been seen as a key step on the road to the Winter Olympics, which will run from 4th to 20th of February in Beijing next year. Though disappointed to not be able to see world-class figure skaters in Japan, many figure skating fans at a Tokyo ice rink were supportive of the decision to cancel the event. Well, on last Monday, Japan took some of the strictest steps globally by closing its borders to new foreign entrants for about a month in light of the emergence of new coronavirus variant, which is Omicron. And an update for the F1 fans now. Lewis Hamilton says he is not comfortable racing in Saudi Arabia this weekend as a result of country's human rights record. Saudi Arabia is hosting its inaugural race on a new street track in the coastal city of Jeddah, the first in a long-term contract. Hamilton said, and I quote him here, "Do I feel comfortable here? I wouldn't say I do, but it's not a choice or my choice to be here. The sport has taken a choice to be here. F1's decision to race in Saudi Arabia has been criticized by human rights groups as well." And the Memphis Grizzlies ran up an NBA record for the biggest winning margin as they beat a dispirited Oklahoma City Thunder by 152-79. The rout eclipses the previous mark set in the year 1991 when the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Miami Heat by 68 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. helped himself to 27 points for the host, with another 8 Grizzlies players getting into double figures. The Thunder have lost 8 games in a row and 10 of their past 11. Well, elsewhere, in form, Western Conference leaders the Phoenix Suns sets a new franchisee record with an 18th successive victory, beating the Detroit Pistons by 114 to 103. Cameron Johnson and Cameron Piney had 19 points and 6 rebounds apiece for the Suns in the absence of star shooting guard Devin Booker, who was injured in Tuesday's win. And that's all for now, but news continues here on DD India, so keep watching. Namaskar.